Hey guys, welcome back to CLOCKWISE Crypto. Hope you guys will move forward in everything that you do. Dive right into a market update. I know there's a lot of uncertainty. I know there's a lot of wild things happening in the marketplace, right? But I do believe that there's light at the end of the tunnel. Let's dive in to see what's going on here. So most recently, we have President Donald Trump signs resolution killing IRS DeFi broker rule. So today, U.S. President Donald Trump signed a joint congressional resolution to repeal a rule that will have required DeFi protocols to report to the IRS. Huge. So we see here that on today, he signed a joint congressional resolution overturning a Biden-era rule that requires decentralized finance protocols to report to the country's tax authority, the IRS. The rule would have required DeFi platforms such as decentralized exchanges, you guys can say like Uniswap, to file their gross proceeds from crypto sales, include information on those involved in the transactions. Huge. So Trump was widely expected to sign the bill, as the White House AI and crypto czar David Sachs said in March that the president would support killing the measure. This is big news, guys. So this is why I don't stand with the notion that the bull runs over. I don't stand with this notion that this is it. I definitely think that there's a lot of uncertainty in the markets, right? But I don't think the tide turned immediately as fast as others may have thought, right? It was lining up. Everything looked picture perfect, but the price action didn't necessarily align immediately, and we spiked, right? So as soon as President Donald Trump won, because he spoke at the Bitcoin conference, and you know he's pro crypto, has been doing everything he said he was going to do, and there was a big push in November as soon as we got the results that he won the election, probably from November to January, right? And the notion was as soon as he steps into office, it's going to pretty much trigger the bull run, right? And that's what it was looking like. Like, that's what, despite anyone that says like they thought differently, I don't know. I can't say how you thought differently. That's exactly what it looked like, because it seems like everything was lining up for that January, February, March bull run that we've seen. At least we saw that in the 2017, 2018 bull run. That's what we saw. So the timing was lining up, and we were seeing the same type of sentiment. We haven't seen that since. It's been a bloodbath. But I do think everything that's happening now is lining up for something even greater. So I don't think it's a matter of if. I just think it's a matter of when things will explode. So we'll keep you updated. I know there's a lot of uncertainty happening in traditional markets because they're getting wrecked, but then they're getting money pouring back into it. It's really U.S. President Donald Trump, in my opinion. I think he's doing everything that he said he was going to do on the campaign trail. He said he was going to get other countries to pay their fair share. Why are we paying? He would say, why is the United States overpaying certain sectors and overpaying for their exports, but to import into the United States, they're paying a fraction, if not anything. So he's pretty much doing what he said he was going to do, and I think that it's a good play for crypto. I think it's going to turn things around. I think crypto is going to benefit from this temperature in this environment. So we'll see what happens, but let's go right into it. So we saw earlier this week with the tariff situation, pretty much we wrecked. We got all the way down to about $75,000 Bitcoin due to this Trump, the Trump tariff situation. So when we look at that and we see everything that could have happened, right? We see everything that we were expecting to happen with the tariffs. I definitely think that it's a bigger plus than it is a minus, right? So the U.S. stock market surged following U.S. Trump's announcement of a 98-day pause on tariffs. This is like the ultimate negotiation, right? He's just negotiating honestly, it seems like he just wanted to get it to be fair, right? Except China, which is crazy. The only thing, and I don't mean to get political here, I'm just saying what I see from a fundamental perspective. It seems like, he paused it for 90 days. He said he would raise the China's levy to 125%, essentially making it a huge hit for China. But the only thing is, it still benefits the United States because from what I've read, it said that the United States imports about 500 billion and only exports to China about 100 billion. Big difference. So essentially we're the customer, right? And essentially we're saying, okay, the tariffs have to make sense. We're fueling your economy. Let's make it make sense, right? And with that tariff war, I definitely think that there is going to be some type of agreement. There has to be. Only because when you're importing that much from China, China has to do something. 500 billion's a lot. And, we're getting, United States gets a lot of products from China. And with that being said, there is a ton of opportunity to negotiate when you're importing that much from a country, right? There has to be some negotiation. So I think it will come. It said that President Trump is a master negotiator, but we're seeing how this impacts the markets. But I definitely think it's only short term, right? I don't think this is going to be something that impacts long term. I think the benefits are going to be long term when it comes to U.S. stock market if this plays out the way it should. But how this ebbs and flows in the markets, I definitely think it's going to come to a close, especially if negotiations go underway. We'll see what China does because we're seeing how it impacts everything. Even just the fear of it, right? It impacts the markets because people fear that. They see the news, they sell. It impacts everything. So that's what we're seeing. So we'll see how these macroeconomic factors continue to play in crypto. So next article here, SEC staff gives guidance on how security laws could apply to crypto. SEC Division of Corporate Finance has given non-binding guidance on how federal security laws could apply to crypto and how industry players should make disclosures. So the SEC staff has given guidance, and what they're saying here is they want to give his views to provide greater clarity on the application of federal securities law to crypto assets. So companies have also disclosed whether they plan to remain engaged in crypto network or app after they launch it or not, whether any entities will take over. So crypto firms, they're saying here, crypto firms should also explain their technology, such as their product, if it is proof of work, proof of stake blockchain, is block size, transaction speed. This proves everything that most projects are already doing. The SEC staff noted as well that the registration qualifications is not required in connection with crypto offerings that aren't securities and aren't a part of an investment contract. However, the statement didn't provide clarity on what digital assets could be securities. So we're going back to this. I just have a bad taste in my mouth from the SEC giving comments on anything. I get things have changed. I get we have pro crypto SEC staff in there now, but the war that was taken to crypto and everything that Ripple dealt with, it's kind of like even the SEC making a statement on it. I'm like, please just don't comment and just let it go. That's initially what I'm thinking when I see that. So we'll see how this plays out. We'll see if this continues to just let people run their crypto, own their crypto, make money from their crypto, even be tax-free like President Donald Trump said. So we'll see how that goes. Next up here, here's an article that I disagree with. Just going to say flat out, even the question, here's why Ethereum is underperforming this market cycle. I'm like, what is really performing this market cycle? Like, for real. Like, if we're being honest, like, do you know anything that has really performed this market cycle outside of Bitcoin? Like, Bitcoin seems to be the only one performing, going from 25,000 to over 100. Like, really, what else has really performed? So looking here, I don't even like the question because it's not like Ethereum is like underperforming. I don't think Ethereum's underperforming. Everything, there's nothing that's really pumped outside of what Cardano pumped, XRP pumped, Bitcoin pumped. What else? What else has really pumped and like maintained? There's nothing. Everything has been underperforming. And so here we're saying it's a statement here in this article. Ethereum's going through the same structure that it went through in 2019, but the reason why it feels so different is because it has taken place over a much longer period of time. But here's why it's taking place over a much longer period of time. The reason is quantitative tightening has lasted a lot longer. Remember last cycle, quarter ended in pre-halving year. We're now not far from being halfway through the post-halving year. This is this post-halving year, and QT still hasn't ended. Quantitative tightening, but it probably will within the next few months. So quantitative tightening, if you guys don't know, it's saying here, it's when the central banks shrink their budgets to reduce the amount of money in circulation in the economy as a means of countering inflation. So Coin said, documenting a summarizing Federal Open Committee meeting in January suggests the U.S. Federal Reserve might end quantitative tightening mid-2025. I don't think Ethereum is underperforming though. And that's kind of where my gripe is with people almost sleeping on Ethereum. I think Ethereum is one of the most undervalued altcoins out there. It's one of those sure bets, in my opinion, but I don't think it's underperforming in comparison to everything else. It's not like there's everything else is green and everything. No, Ethereum's right in the mix of everything else. So what, the all-time high is what, $5,000? Okay. It's down 75% from its all-time high, roughly. And okay, everything's down. Right. So I think Ethereum's getting a bad rap. I think Ethereum's being slept on. I think Ethereum's going to outperform everything. And it's one of those sure bets. I don't lose sleep at night with ETH. I know Ethereum's going to be around. Despite my gripes with Vitalik and pretty much people that make decisions with Ethereum's not going anywhere. We know this. So this thought that Ethereum is underperforming, I think, is crazy to me. So that's my 2 cents about Ethereum. Ethereum's at a low price. I think it should be celebrated, not saying, oh, Ethereum's underperforming because of quantitative tightening. Oh, because this is that. Man, listen, everything is down. So I try to keep it as simple as possible here. Everything's down. It's not like everything is up but Ethereum. Everything's down. So I don't know. It's just me, guys. That's my 2 cents about Ethereum. Next article here. Cardano creator Charles Hoskins says crypto will benefit from tariff war, unveils 6-figure Bitcoin target. I agree with this 100%, not just because it's Charles Hoskins, even though I think he's brilliant. But I think, like I said before we got this article, everything should this should be a plus. When we talk about tariff, we talk about the trade war happening across the world. So Trump's tariffs will deglobalize the world economically, pushing people towards digital assets as a means of globalization. Here, Charles says, what ends up happening is crypto benefits in the long term. Geopolitically, what's happening is we're moving from a rules-based international order to a powers conflict. We spent our entire adult lives under rules-based international order, but our parents and grandparents, they lived under great powers conflict. It was the United States and Soviet Union going at it, so it didn't matter what the trade deal was. It didn't matter what rule law was. If the Soviet Union wanted to do something or the U.S. wanted to do something, they just did it. Now we go back to great powers conflict. And so here is the best point in this whole talk with Charles, right? He says, I think Bitcoin will be over 250K by the end of this year or next year. What's going to drive that is that if the tariff stuff will be a dud, then people will realize that the world is willing to negotiate. It's really just U.S. versus China, which we're seeing. A lot of people will side with the U.S. Some people will side with China, but the markets will stabilize a little bit and they'll get used to the new normal, right? And so I definitely think there's truth to that. I think that we're seeing that. It's just U.S. versus China. You can see that with the pause, right? With Trump, he paused the tariffs for 90 days for everyone but China. Hint, hint. This is just U.S. versus China, right? So we'll see that. And like I said, guys, we see everything going on. And just getting back to crypto real quick, it's not just Ethereum that's pulled back. I just want everyone to remember that. It's not just Ethereum that's pulled back. It's every crypto has pulled back, right? So Ethereum should be seen as undervalued. That's going to outperform and perform beautifully. It's not going to outperform everything, right? There's going to be some, of course, that go crazier. But Ethereum's going to do just fine, in my opinion. Taking a look here at the charts, we did update this a little bit. Okay. So this level of support was hit, right? So that's the level we've been calling for a while. I didn't know if we'd get there or not, but since we did, I think it's good to note that was all right, critical level right here. If we break this level, I don't know. Okay, I don't know what to say if we break this level, and I'm okay saying that. I have no idea if we break 74, break and close below 74,000. I have no idea what's going on. Okay, I'm just gonna keep it 100. All TAs out the window if we break that level, right? To the point where I would tell people to brace yourself, just because it's that critical of a level right there. So we see the two levels above or levels that we want to see broken. Not move too much, but about 85,000 and I would say just say 90,000. 85 and 90 are the levels we need broken to go on a continuation. So that's what I'm seeing, and that's pretty much simple TA. Just want to see where the floor is. That was our floor right here. Okay, this was our floor. If we break and close below this floor, I don't know. Okay, and I'm just gonna say that, like, I don't know. Like, next stop, if we break that level, next stop is 66. So we hope this level holds. Hope this level holds. No more, and we'll see over the next 90 days if it holds. No more flash crashes that we've been seeing. So we'll see what happens. So going over to this next article real quick, 2.19 billion Cardano in 24 hours. ADA price jumps 12%. Pretty much jumping with that pause in the tariffs. Everything pretty much rebounded for the most part. And I definitely think that Cardano is going to continue to be elite. You guys know how we feel about Cardano. You guys know that I think Cardano is undervalued and not talked about enough. And that's pretty much how it happens, right? Like, you remember everyone that was talking about Quant. I was talking to a buddy of mine about Quant. Right, everyone's talking about Quant, and I'm telling you guys, nah, I'm good. Only because typically when everyone starts talking about it, it's too late, or they're pretty much hyping it up to sell their bags to you. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, when everyone starts talking about it, that's typically when you want to start selling, especially during the crazy bull markets. But we're seeing that with Quant, right? We're talking about Quant. We look at Quant, just fell off a cliff, and Quant's supposed to be $1,000 per Quant. Now it's down to 60 bucks. We look at the all-time high of Quant. I definitely think that there is promise. We look at Quant going to its all-time high. We can actually see it real quick on CoinMarketCap, but its all-time high, I think it's like $100 or something. Oh, it's higher than that. All-time high 350, about 350, $400. Okay, yeah, 384, all-time high. Okay, and I remember there was a big pump, and everyone was saying, "Oh, it's 1,000, going to 1,000," which it may, right? I think a Quant's going to do fine, and I think accumulating Quant isn't a bad idea now, right? Because it's at the price action where it's on sale, clearly on sale. Like, look. Shot up to 3. It's been pulling back ever since. Now it's at $60. Like, it's clearly a steal. There's no scenario where I don't think Quant does well. And the same thing with like projects like Supra. Like, we go to Supra, right? Supra never had a bull run, and now it's under a penny, right? Significantly under a penny. So essentially, you can get $1 million. You can get $1 million for $5,500, right? It goes just to its all-time high to 6 cents. You essentially flipped $5,500 to about $60,000 if it just goes to 6 cents. So I love talking about projects that a lot of people aren't talking about, and Supra is one of those. I think Quant has died down a little bit. Not a lot of people are talking about Quant, so Quant will be another one of those as well. Huge accumulation opportunity, guys. With everything going on in the markets, I just believe that's a huge accumulation opportunity for people that are serious about crypto, know where the future's heading. The writing's on the wall, right? The writing's on the wall, and the opportunity is right in front of us, and you have that opportunity. So definitely want to give you that market update. Stay tuned for some more coming. Gonna give you some alpha, talking about a lot of projects that most people aren't talking about, and I do believe that that is where the gems lie. So hope you guys got some value out of this video. Keep moving forward in everything that you do. We'll see you soon.